If someone in a lab coat told you to electrocute a stranger, would you do it? Of course, your answer is no, never. But what if I told you that, in a real experiment, most people did exactly that? In 1961, psychologist Stanley Milgram wanted to understand why ordinary people followed orders to commit horrific acts, like the soldiers in Nazi Germany. So, he set up an experiment that would shock the world, literally. And what he discovered? It proves that you, me, and almost everyone is far more obedient than we'd like to believe. Let's break it down. Milgram's experiment was simple. Participants were told they were in a learning study. They sat in front of a machine with buttons labeled from 15 volts to 450 volts, from a tiny shock to danger, severe shock. Their job? Press the button every time a learner in another room answered incorrectly. What they didn't know is that the learner was an actor, and the shocks weren't real. But when the actor screamed in pain, begged for mercy, or even went silent, Milgram's real test began. Would the participant refuse to continue? Or would they keep pressing the button because the scientist told them to? So, what happened? 65% of participants, that's nearly 2 out of 3 people, went all the way to 450 volts, even when the learner begged them to stop, even when they thought they were causing serious harm, or worse. Why? Because an authority figure in a lab coat told them they must continue. And this is where things get disturbing. Most people weren't evil. They were just ordinary people who followed orders, just like soldiers, police, and even corporate employees do every day. So why did they obey? Because of 3 powerful psychological forces. 1, authority bias. When we see someone as an expert, we trust their judgment more than our own. Think doctors, police, or even influencers. 2, diffusion of responsibility. When orders come from above, we think it's not my decision. I'm just following orders. 3, gradual commitment. The first shock was small, but step by step, they kept going. Each decision felt justified, until suddenly, they were at 450 volts. And here's the scariest part. This still happens today. From corporate corruption to government cover-ups, people obey not because they're bad, but because they don't want to go against authority. So now I'll ask you, if you were in Milgram's experiment, would you have stopped? Be honest. Because the truth is, most people think they'd resist, but the science says otherwise. We obey authority every single day, from laws to jobs to social expectations. But what if I told you that authority isn't the only thing controlling you? There's a psychological trick that makes people believe everyone agrees with something, even when they don't. It's called the false consensus effect, and it's one of the biggest weapons of manipulation ever. Click here to see how it works, before it works on you. Comment below. Would you have obeyed, or would you have walked away? Like and subscribe so you never miss another dark psychology breakdown.